Congressional lawmakers unveil a new House resolution on Iran. Bipartisan lawmakers held a congressional briefing Wednesday unveiling how the resolution will shape the future of U.S. policy toward Iran. Well, here to discuss this further is California Congressman Tom McClintock, who represents the state's 5th congressional district. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Wednesday's briefing was hosted by the Iran Human Rights and Democracy Caucus, of which you are a co-chair. You opened up the briefing by saying there is a sense that the tide is turning regarding the Iranian regime. Tell us more about your comments.
Well, what's been most frustrating to me is that several times over the last 2 decades, opposition within Iran's come close to taking down that regime. And each time the Obama and Biden administrations moved to prop it up. I mean, we all remember the billions of dollars of cash that Obama sent on cargo pallets to the mullahs. And Biden not only sent billions of dollars, but also relaxed the sanctions that made it possible for Iran to fund oppression at home and terrorism abroad. But fortunately, those days are over. And the opposition is again boiling over at home. The oppression of the theocracy there is becoming extreme, hundreds and hundreds of political executions. And I think we can all sense that the things are coming to a head.
And you say, and I want to talk more about that further, because you say within the next few years we will be celebrating the liberation of Iran. What makes you so confident we will see that in the near future when it's been over 40 years since the Islamic Revolution?
First of all, we now have a presidential administration that will not prop up the mullahs the way Obama and Biden did. That's critically important. Secondly, the amount of terrorism that Iran has exported throughout the Middle East, in fact, throughout the world, but especially in the Middle East, has made it a complete pariah internationally. And this administration is actually now enforcing the sanctions that had nearly brought the Iranian regime to collapse during the first Trump administration. So we've got a lot going for us now, but most of all, a government that practices the kind of terrorism and oppression on their own people is not going to last very long. And I think that's coming to a head.
In a little over a week, there will be a rally in Washington, D.C. for a free Iran that's sponsored by the Organization of Iranian American Community. Tell us more about what that would entail, especially how on the website states how the overthrowing of the Assad regime, which was supported by Iran, has reinvigorated the Iranian resistance movement. Tell us more about what people can expect and what this aims to achieve.
Well, I think we're seeing more and more of demonstrations by the Iranian opposition at home and a growing commitment to the cause of freedom in Iran by nations such as the United States. And that's certainly represented by the resolution that we just introduced yesterday, House Resolution 166, co-sponsored by 150 members of the House representing both parties. This supports the goal of a democratic, secular, and non-nuclear Republic of Iran, and it supports the 10-point plan for the future of Iran that's put forth by the National Council of Resistance of Iran. It calls for universal suffrage, free elections, a market economy, the separation of church and state, equal justice under law, and peaceful coexistence in the Middle East.
And lastly, tell us more about the guests that we heard from Wednesday during that briefing. Tell us more about what their message was and what you want people to know about the current state of Iran and how this will change in the future.
Well, we heard from a professor that was the victim of an assassination attempt. He was actually shot in the face by a Iranian assassin sent by the regime because he was speaking out against it in Madrid, Spain. This is the kind of tactics that we see from the mullahs of Iran, and it's a warning to us all of the malignancy that has developed within that government. The people of Iran know that. They live with it every day. And now the people of the world are coming to the belief that regime has to end.
Absolutely, and we hear that across democracies all across the world, and we know that the people of Iran are suffering at the hands of the regime there. So, of course, this is such an important briefing, and this new administration putting down a red line, and as we've seen in the past, again, Congressman Tom McClintock, who is the co-chair, thank you so much again for your time. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.